This is The Virtual Compound, the show for women navigating military life, parenting, fitness, and a love of good books. We're here for real conversations, relatable stories, and the journey to becoming the strongest version of yourself wherever life takes you.
Welcome to The Virtual Compound. As Katie said, we're here for all the things. And today it is parenting of the little ones. We're going in the Wayback Machine for Katie and Amelia, but the current situation for me since we started over again. It is Tuesday, 4 in the afternoon in California.
It is Wednesday, 7:59 a.m. in Japan.
And it is 6:59 p.m. in Maryland on Tuesday. Yes.
I love how we all still have to think about what day it is.
Well, meeting together yesterday to go over the outline and then work, I don't know. My days are like way off. Plus, Wyatt worked all weekend and I didn't have a weekend. So it's way off. But, you know, our Bryans will work eventually.
Yeah, Brian's slowly getting back to work. But, I mean, that's what happens, you know, having little babies. And I can say, like, I know my Brian will work again because I've already done it. And we were talking over the weekend about how it was a good thing we started over. It's been difficult having little ones in our 40s. Are you talking to me or are you talking to your kids?
Okay. I
know. It's been difficult starting over in our 40s for like a bunch of different reasons, but it was exactly what was meant to happen for us because there's no way I could handle all of the things life is throwing at me with my big four that without having these little ones. We're not ready to be empty nesters yet. Not that our third and fourth are ready to leave, but
right. I mean, technically your second isn't ready to leave tomorrow.
Right. No one's leaving tomorrow, but in the spring, they will be. Yeah.
2026 will be a big year for you.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a big year for all of us because you guys are both likely moving.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband will be graduating from another program and my son will be graduating and my third one will be driving.
Amelia's still in denial on.
Abby will be driving.
No, she was denying about Emma.
That too. No, I know. All of it. All of the things.
Well, now that we've caught up everybody on that, we're going to go way back in time for me and Amelia. And we're talking about the early years, the good, the hard, unexpected, how we managed to survive, specifically that first year with as much of our Brian and sanity intact as possible. If you guys haven't heard us talk about Brian is our brain, but because of autocorrect, it became a person and it is now Brian. So it's always poor Brian
Poor Brian.
Poor Brian.
Yeah. In every conversation now.
Yeah. So with that, let's kick it off with expectations. We'll keep this real quick of like expectations before we had kids and then the reality of after you had kids.
So I don't know about you guys, but I really thought that we would be doing a lot of crafting and baking together. Now, granted, this isn't like within the first year. I don't think I really had a lot of expectations. I had nieces, and I babysat a lot, so I kind of like understood all of that. But as a babysitter, I was crafting and doing fun things. As a mom, I thought I would be too, but instead it was more like, you know, constantly cleaning up after them and teaching them how to clean up after themselves. And there was just always a mess to be picked up. And then, of course, the arguing. And I don't mean like fighting with me and like the blatant like no's. I mean the logical reasoning of, okay, I understand that you said no, but here's my valid point as to why it should be a yes. And, you know, when you have a toddler that can logic an argument with you, that's just a whole new level of parenting that I never, ever anticipated. So,
yeah, I mean, I think thinking back, I think I had a similar thought with the crafting and the like, we're going to go do all of the fun things like berry picking and whatever. But I also, whenever they pull out as a teeny tiny, and they can get just enough words, they pull out sentences that make complete sense, and all of a sudden you're like, this is a human being. Like, it's a tiny little adult human being, but it's not. It threw me for a loop for sure. Yeah.
I think it was the personality that's not mine. Because, like, children have their own personality, right? Like, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your logical brain knows that. And then they turn, I know we're talking about like the first year, but like, they turn 2, they turn 3, they turn whatever. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's what?
Yeah.
You're your own tiny person with your own thoughts and feelings and opinions that are not mine. And I don't know how much I love that.
Yeah. Which I think is about the time that everybody starts apologizing to their moms of like, I'm sorry. Now that I realize we're dealing with that.
It's great. And as great as it is, as much as it's like so cool to see who they are, you're also like, but the red cup was okay yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. Like the big feelings over the small stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And like also like, hey, we love hiking. You love hiking. And they're like, I hate hiking. Like,
what?
Not that that would be something in my family because I hate hiking, but
I get,
like,
yeah.
This, and your child's like, I don't love that, and you're like, what? Yes, you do.
What?
I think that was surprising for toddlers. Nothing gets me for babies.
Mine was like, I thought that we would be able to pack up and get out with an infant because, everybody says like, oh, they're easy. You just pack them up and you go. And instead, we didn't make it to church for 3 months because we couldn't get ourselves together fast enough in the morning to make it to the church building.
Yeah. Well, and that's
like
the
first
other
3
thing.
months.
Like I mean, each kid was different. My first 4 latched very easily, and I didn't really have an issue. They did nurse for like longer periods of time, and then you have the pumping and all of those like little elements. But like, it was the length of time it takes to feed them. In that first year, how long feeding takes, and then the time between feeding is really your start time to start time, not really your end time to start time.
Yeah.
And so I think that was another one. And I don't remember, I don't remember if I expected that or not, but I mean, I may have read that somewhere, but that was a long time ago.
Right.
I think mine was, I watched, I guess not a lot surprised me about the baby years because I love babies and I wanted babies. But I think what surprised me about like my personal babies was I watched these moms put their babies down on like mats and in these like swings and things, and they would walk away and their babies would for the most part be fine. And my babies would scream until they threw up.
Oh.
Because if they were not like if their body was not touching my body, their world was like
done.
Ending.
Yeah. That surprised me. And I was like, oh, so showering, not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. Or unless like another person that they've deemed acceptable is around. Because Sam was gone so much of Clara's babyhood when she deemed him acceptable, like randomly.
Right.
He was gone for a week and then tried to come back and hold her. She's like, no.
That checks out for Clara's personality though, like now too, 100%.
Yes. That was surprising. The amount of time, and it wasn't necessarily always surprising bad because I loved holding them. You get that 1 year where they're squishy and fat and they want to be held for that like 1 year. Yeah.
And we're going through that right now just because baby girl is sick or teething, but her low grade fever is a little bit more than a low grade fever. So I can't imagine a whole year not getting anything done and feeling unproductive.
Right.
I learned to baby wear because of Josh, and I could do like everything in the carrier. And I remember,
except for shower.
He started, except for showering. Well, I would put him in the little thing
sling
when he could sit up. We did this safely, everyone. And we had this massive walk-in shower where we lived, and I'd put him like in the corner there so I could shower. And as long as he could like see me once he could sit up in the little sitter thing, whatever that was called, he was like, I'm okay with this. But until then, he lost his ever-loving mind. But um, I learned to baby wear because of him, and I remember the day he could sit up independently, like really, really sit up independently without, doing like the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
big-headed wobble
The
thing, and they
wobble.
start because that's when you can put them on your back.
Yeah.
My entire world changed.
Oh, I
I
bet
could
it did.
cook, I could clean better, like everything was better because I could finally wear him on my back, and I was like, from like Aladdin, a whole new world. Look at all the things I can do. And I remember Sam came home and I was like, look, look, look. And I like vacuumed. He was like,
Yay.
yay. Like you
Oh,
don't
that's awesome.
understand.
Oh, that's funny. I feel like that one goes with the other big surprises in the first year. And like mine was, I'd heard about overstimulation like in babies, but until you're really like presented with an overstimulated infant, especially the really little ones, you just
Hmm.
don't understand what it is. And you have to have so much patience in your own self or be able to at least like know, like set them down, know they're going to be okay, and go separate yourself so that you can take a moment to breathe. Because we had a very loved family member who was over to see one of the girls when she was really little and wanted to take pictures with all these like handmade things that people had given her in a baby shower. So it was like, we got so many blankets for one of the girls. It was like 12 blankets, but some of like seven of them were like quilted or handmade. And she wanted to have pictures with all of them. And so, like, this was when Wyatt and I were able to go on our first dates. We come back and she's super upset. By this point, she was supposed to have been asleep, and then I would come in and like feed her, and then she'd go right back to bed. And we could hear her outside when we pulled up to the house. And we go in, and they were like, "We don't know." And the next day, by accident, I wasn't going through her phone, but I happened to see like the pictures on her phone when she was showing me something else. And she had taken so many pictures with her and basically just like laid her down and changed her clothes a few times that she was so overstimulated. It took me an hour to get her to calm down just so she would feed. And that was not something I had expected at all. Like, and there were a couple times where Wyatt would come home and he'd take her and he's like, just go lock yourself in a room somewhere, put on some headphones so that you can decompress because you are now overstimulated as well. And I felt like that was one of probably the biggest surprise that I dealt with in the first year was
Yeah.
that, like in person.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, that kind of, I mean, I don't remember my kids being overstimulated to any great degree because I was so rigid with their schedules. Um, the littler ones, yes, but it's how quickly, I guess it kind of goes just because of the time difference, but how quickly they phase out or up.
Mm-hmm.
So if they needed more sleep or less sleep, and they would kind of go through one of those like overstimulation phases, but we were always of the I like the saying, and my husband hates it, but I've always said sleep begets sleep.
Yeah.
And literally, like number five was born with the 10-year gap between number four and her. And we had no, like, I didn't forget. I didn't intentionally put her on any schedule because I couldn't. We were, the kids were in school in Japan and we had dance and we had all these like things that surrounded life that there was no day, like no time every day of the week that I was routinely home. So I
Yeah.
couldn't get her on like that kind of a schedule. She was a great sleeper and she did all these things and slept on the go, but I didn't have her on a schedule. And so now getting number six on the schedule, um, it's been, we're working on it, but having Penelope on a schedule now, if she's not in bed at 8, she wakes up earlier. So if she goes to bed later, she wakes up earlier. If she has a terrible nap, like it's just a trickle down effect.
Mm-hmm.
So when all the sleep and all those things change, like I know what you're talking about, like the moodiness and the overstimulation, like aspect of it. But I would get used to, one phase if it was napping 2 or 3 times a day and going to sleep, or if it was, you know, they're learning to crawl, and then you just get comfortable with them crawling, and then all of a sudden they're walking or running or like
Yes.
every single phase. It just flew by. I didn't like that.
I know. And
I
here
can
you
I didn't
to
expect
like
that.
tack on to overstimulation. You know, you hear the term touched out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like really understand that until I had like the Velcro baby.
Yeah.
And both my kids, like, you know, I know people really struggle with nursing sometimes. I did not. It was a really easy journey for me. Um, but, you know, you have a nursing baby and then you cannot put that baby down and they want to be on you at all times. And so I constantly, like me, overstimulated, like constantly felt touched out. And then
Yeah.
my husband would come home and like put his hand on my back or something, and I'd be like, "You want to lose the hand? Like, don't touch me. I've had someone touching me all
All day.
day." And it's not that that person's been unpleasant necessarily. It's just that like all day.
Yeah.
Like, and then when you have the second one or the third one or the whatever, you know, they go on, and then you have like the baby touching you and then the toddler touching you. And it's like,
And then with the toddlers, you add in the noise on top of it.
yes, and the
Yeah.
noise of them, and they're like, I just need silence. And y'all know this, I hate silence because ADHD, and so my brain is like, silence bad, silence bad, silence bad. Um, but in that baby toddler stage, it was like, I need silence and nothing. Those float tanks always sounded like
I was
torture to me.
actually, I was just thinking about that. I was like, I think you actually would have done well in a float tank.
Probably at that point in time, they always sounded like that is how to torment me.
Yeah.
Put me in one of those things and like deprive me of sensory input. But in those times, it was like I would love to be deprived
Yes.
of sensory input. So it's like me as a mom overstimulated. I guess that's surprising. Like, you know, you see the frazzled mom and you're like, oh, because you have things to do and a baby and blah. And I think the
Mm.
added, like what you don't until you're there,
Yeah.
understand is like every single sense is going to just be like on fire.
Red
Maybe
alert.
not taste,
Yeah.
because I don't remember eating on purpose. Like, especially when you have the baby and the toddler and you like eat the toddler's leftover whatevers.
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining to Brody how it is an accomplishment for a nursing mom to feed herself,
Yes.
because I was like, you know, we were having a conversation. I was like, I've done a lot today. I've done these things. And I mentioned like having breakfast and eating lunch. He's like, those are like normal human things. I'm like, they are not. They are
Not
not.
for moms.
No. It like I was like, there's a reason your dad was literally bringing me snacks and force feeding me right after I came home from the hospital with her. Like, you cannot tell me that you've not seen that happen.
Yeah.
But for me, I think I was pretty like consistent, even keel, and just like pleasant after I had the first four. But because of like being older when having number 5 and 6, number 5 specifically, I went through like serious weirdness. Like, I didn't want to hear music, and
Mm.
I didn't like, I just like, I love music, and I was and I just like, it drove me nuts. And so I think it was like the overstimulation and the lack of sleep, because Penelope didn't like sleep well at night until we got into this house, because she was a year old when we left Japan, and then we got into this house just a few months later. But it was like that 3-month transition of leaving there, like getting to the point where you can sleep through the night, and then leaving there, and that whole like half
Mm-hmm.
a world away changeover. But yeah, it wasn't until about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, when I was like singing along with the kids in the car, and Abby was like, "Hey, it's nice to hear you singing again and liking music." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're right. I couldn't stand it. It drove me nuts. Like, even my favorite stuff, it was weird." So
It's
yeah,
kind of a
that one
bummer
I
in
wouldn't have
that case.
expected. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm over it now, but that was apparently rough for them. So
Well, that was certainly something that didn't work for you. What is some stuff that did work for you guys?
that did go as planned.
Well, just work in general. Like, what is something you fell back onto?
I mean,
Hint,
the
hint, segment
thing,
2. We're moving into
yeah,
segment 2.
I knew what you were doing.
Okay.
I was tracking. No, so we read Baby Wise. I read Baby Wise. I read the Baby Wise books
Same.
before I had Emma, my firstborn. And literally she came home from the hospital sleeping through the night. I had her on
Lucky.
a strict schedule, and that was pretty much all my kids. Like they might have woken up a couple times here and there in like the first like 3 or 4 months. They would wake up once or twice a night, maybe, but for the most part, they were sleeping pretty soundly. And I had them on strict schedules. Everything was like, nope, that's nap time. Nope. And as difficult as it made that, and as homebodies as it like kept me and like kept me kind of isolated, oh my gosh, it was like the best for them. They had the best schedule. They're the best eaters. Like they're always just easy kids. And I firmly believe that that's why. But in rereading it for these two, the little tag along pair, I told Emma, who's the one that's engaged, I was like, you need to read this with your fiance and talk about it and like book club it before you guys like start having kids, because it talks about setting up your marriage for kids as well. And I think it's just so beneficial and to be on the same page and like having all the things. But yeah, definitely that one, and the sleep training, the rhythm, all of the things regarding Baby Wise really, I think, helped us having good kids.
Yeah. Can't really say much more because you said it all for me. We did Baby Wise. My sister-in-law even made like the outline for me and like sent me the
Oh, nice.
outline in addition to the book. And she was having her second, she like right after I found out I was pregnant, she had her second. So there's an 8-month difference between my oldest and her second. And so she would be just a couple of like stages ahead. So if I was having problems, I would message her and be like, what do you recommend and whatever. And that really helped kind of that communication. But Baby Wise, and it also, I think, helped me mentally of like having an order because everything was so unknown. You know, like there's not a whole lot you can have in control when you have no idea what you're expecting because you've never been a parent before. And so knowing like, okay, this is the next step. And even if it has to adjust, you know, here or there, with whatever teething, your routine is going to be off a little bit because they're just not going to sleep well because they're in pain or whatever. But still trying to like keep that same rhythm. It helped me mentally, I think, a lot too, just to know that like there was a plan and then we stuck to it. But it also helped that Wyatt and I were on the same page. Like you brought up, that would make it a lot harder if we hadn't been. For sure.
Yeah, we were always on the same page. Like, it took me a little bit to be okay with him not helping at night. However, I got to take naps during the day, and he had to wake up super early to go into work. He was working really long hours, but he also was a terrible sleeper. So I don't think he ever woke up with the kids in the middle of the night. He like stayed up once with Penelope when we were in Japan this last time, but for the most part, like it was all me that in the middle of the night, which was fine because I can sleep while nursing. But did you guys do daddy feeds?
So my kids never took a bottle ever, like as much as we tried to get them to take a bottle. And I've never been like anti-formula or anything like that. But they nursed well. And I did try to pump and I was never very successful at pumping. But even if I was able to get out enough for a bottle, they
wouldn't take it.
From birth would not take a bottle.
That was Emma.
So no, he never fed them. And like as a funny aside, we our neighbors are dual military. And they both had to go TDY at the same time. And they're our good friends. We watched their 6-month-old for like 2 weeks. And he takes a bottle, obviously. But I handed Sam the baby and the bottle. I was like, can you like, I have to go do something. And he was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Because he never did it. I didn't think about that.
Did it. And I was like, oh. That's right. You would have absolutely no idea. He's like, do I just like you just put it in their mouth. Like, is that do they need to be lying down? Are they upright? Like, how do we like,
Like a syringe, ready to just pump it in there.
he's like, I don't he
He's
like
probably
held,
bottle fed a cow, so he's like to get any position.
yeah, is it just
Right.
like a shove it in their mouth?
Yeah, I
She
wouldn't have
would
thought
know.
about that.
Um,
Yeah.
but he woke up with the kids, and that was never something we really talked about, like division of labor, really.
Yeah.
Um, he woke up when they were like little, and I woke up. And he would like change the diaper and help soothe and things. And when the one time I think we talked about it, I was like, you can go to sleep. And he was like, well, no, I don't really get to spend much time with them during the day. So this is my time
Mm,
to spend time with them when they're little. Um, and like especially that like newborn infant stage. So he would do
yeah.
that. Um, and yeah, we didn't really talk too much about division of labor. And we also didn't read we read some baby books, but um we didn't really read anything that we like super stuck to for like the baby years because they nursed and then we put them in the little whatever that thing was that was right next to your bed. The
Pack and play.
Bassinet.
Bassinet thing.
yeah, but it was like the one that was all popular for when the kids were little, the angel something,
Mm.
that thing. And then they just kind of moved into our room until Clara still hasn't technically moved out, but she's a frequent guest. And yeah, they just kind of stayed for a while, sleeping. But then everything else, I don't know. We kept doing normal life things. They just came also, except for naps. I was, because I only have two, I was the
Mm-hmm.
nap, like, Nazi.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
home, so they could nap,
Yeah.
and I didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Because, like Lacey said, sleep does beget sleep. And on the days that they didn't nap, you've all
Oh,
experienced that. The days that your kid doesn't nap,
it's awful.
and then you
It's
try to get them to
meltdown by
bed.
6 p.m. Yeah.
Yes. And they're so overtired that
Yeah.
they just
Amp
want to go
themselves
to
up.
sleep and they
Yeah.
cannot go to sleep.
And
Yeah.
and overtired is a serious thing. Like for
Oh yeah.
anybody who you're listening to this because you're thinking you're like on your way to becoming a parent, overtired is a thing.
Yeah. It
And
was
it's
a
a
thing for me too.
yeah, it's a thing for adults. We just don't recognize it. We just push through. But babies
Oh
and
no,
toddlers don't. Well, but like gamers will do it, right? Like they'll even get
oh
overtired,
yeah.
but they'll be up here. But we can
Parents
like
though.
make that choice.
Yeah.
Whereas like children, they don't understand what's happening and they
Yeah.
don't have the cognitive ability to calm themselves down either.
Yeah.
And then they can't put themselves to bed after that. And it's just, it's,
Mhm.
it's nuts.
So
We have
I
a
mean,
video of Clara. It was one of those days that she was like way overtired. We put her in her crib for her to go to bed because like I had nursed her and we had rocked her and it was just like maybe she just needs. I never did cry it out. I didn't have the heart for it. I couldn't do it. Um, but it was one of the nights where I was like maybe she does just need to be alone for a little bit and like try. And we snuck a video of her and she's standing like holding the rails of her crib and she's like screaming and then as she like goes back she like kind of falls asleep and she wakes herself up and screams more and then she goes back she kind of falls asleep she wakes herself up to scream more and that went on for a long time until she like slowly screamed herself down. This only lasted for like 10 minutes, guys. I didn't like
Right.
let my kid sleep for hours and then she just kind of fell asleep and I was like oh I guess that's what she needed.
Yeah. That's funny.
I mean, I think that recognizing overtired as a thing is some good advice. But like, did you guys have any weird advice that was actually golden?
I do. I
What?
tell this to everyone. Travel while traveling is not the time to be a good parent. And a mom of many children told me this many years ago. And I was like, what? She's like, this is not the time to like be a good parent. Like, this is not the like, make sure you get your vegetables and like, we're going to do this and like, no screen time. Like, I used your 20 minutes. When you're on an 18-hour flight, survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't parent, survive. If you are traveling, and she was like, if you were traveling for more than 4 hours, you are not, don't parent, survive.
Yeah.
What does it take to get you and your child happily through that flight? You can like go back to parenting the next day, but like during that, do not parent. And I thought it was so weird until I had kids, and specifically we took the kids to Europe, and we were in the London Heathrow Airport, and Clara's like, I want Datdale, Datwin Whitedale. And I was like, I don't know. And she looked at me and I went, you can have the bear. 4+ hours of a layover.
Mm,
That child sat in that stroller with that bear with joy.
I bet. Yeah.
And like all she wanted was rice for lunch. I gave her rice. And Sam was like, she needs a protein. I was like, she's happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave it. Josh, I would feed him mini M&Ms one at a time on airplane flights. I like the tray table down, and they had this bubble pop game that they were both obsessed with on the iPad.
We had that too.
Bubbles.
Yeah. That floated.
For hours. They would like pop bubbles with their fat little fingers. And then I would like I was feeding a tiger, like through the cage. I would put one M&M on the little like plain tray table, and Josh would like look up from his bubble pop, put the M&M in his mouth, bubble pop.
So it was like Monsters Inc. when Boo's coloring and they're like throwing the M&Ms.
Yes. Yes. It was like that. And I always got complimented on how like great and wonderful travelers my children are, especially on airplanes. And it's like, and you're always like, thanks, but you want to be like, thanks. I give them whatever they want.
Right. Today.
So really not today.
Yeah.
Like anything they want. I mean, within reason, right? Like,
right.
I'm not going to give them like a handle of vodka from the
because it was
store?
pretty, or
the tax-free store.
Oh yeah, duty free.
Duty free. That's not happening. But like, this is not the time to parent them. Let them have the screens. Let them have the like whatever
it's vacation. Yeah.
Even if it's candy or like whatever. I mean, I do try to make them have food, especially now that they are reasonable humans.
Right.
But still. Or even if it's not vacation, like we're going home, we live in Japan. That is a 20+ hour travel day.
Yes.
This is not the time to be like, whatever. And my children are fantastic. They're great travelers. Terrible, terrible riders in the car seat. Have always been, will probably always continue to be. But
be good with that.
Travel.
Yeah.
Not the time to parent well.
Well, we did something similar on our move to Japan. Like, we let Lexi have her pacifier considerably longer than we did Zoe, but it was also like, we're moving to Japan and we're going to be trying to get her to go to sleep on the airplane. We are not taking this pacifier away until we are in the new house. I was like, she gets it on the airplane. And then because we were in a hotel for 2 weeks, literally 13 days, I was like, she's also not getting it taken away then until her like first shipment of like comfort stuffy things arrive. We are essentially still in travel mode. She was eating and doing the other things, but we started limiting as preparation coming to that. It became the only time she got it is if she was sick and sleeping. There was no like just sit there and like munch or like hold on to it. Those were the limitations we set months ahead, so that as we got up there, it was like, okay, you can have this if you want it for that. But that was my little travel thing. Like additive to that. But I don't actually have anything. I'm sure that there was weird advice. I just can't think of any right now. So I'm going to piggyback off of Amelia's.
We didn't really have weird advice. I was trying to think about this. I don't think we really got a lot of advice. I think all of the people in our lives that maybe would have had any advice just were kind of like, let's watch and see what they do. So I don't know, but the rough advice I would say that we got was from our pediatrician. And I think I've talked about him before when we've done other like parenting episodes. He was literally, his last name was Bernstein. And that's why I picked him, because I was like, oh, that's like, this is perfect. Children's books. Great. Like, that's just a great name. And he ended up being the most phenomenal pediatrician we've had to date. And that's all 6 kids. But he said it was when Emma was probably 2 and starting to go through the like pickiness phase. And he said, she's not going to eat. She's not going to eat. Like, don't give her snacks or don't cater to her. You're not a short order cook. give her what you off, like give her what you've made. And if she doesn't eat it, fine. She'll eat it when she's hungry, and you offer it repeatedly. If that's, if it's lunch and she's not eating it at lunch, give it to her at dinner or snack, then dinner. If she doesn't eat either of those times, then it's breakfast the next morning. And that was hard. It was hard advice and it felt so cruel, but I learned very quickly, especially with that one. Thank goodness it was my first. It was a battle of will.
Mm.
And it has prepared me for Penelope, because she's also very much like Emma and very willful. And so my kids are literally the best eaters. Like their friends come over, some of their friends come over, and other people that we've been around, their kids, they're so peckish. They won't eat what we eat. They need something else. They need chicken nuggets. They need nursery foods or the simple whatever. Our kids literally eat everything. I can't think of anything that my kids don't eat. Like Emma has a weird thing with like soggy foods, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like that,
I think
that doesn't necessarily have to do with like whether or not like good food, it's like she'll eat a fresh tomato, but not like a stewed tomato. I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's an experience. It's like, it's not that she's saying no to the food altogether. It's just the preparation of the food. But she's
preparation or texture. Yeah. Like she loves tomatoes, but she hates cherry tomatoes.
I can get with her on that because, my parents didn't allow picky eaters.
Yeah.
But I don't like goopy things like Jell-O.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like Jell-O and pudding.
Or like, and in Japan, they're obsessed with like putting goopy things in their drinks and just everywhere else. I don't like it. But
it's really entertaining though to watch you drink the Starbucks drinks.
Yeah,
they're favorite when they have
do
stuff
that for
in it.
y'all. When they have stuff in them, it's so gross. But our pediatrician said the same thing. Similar. It was healthy babies don't starve, and your children are healthy. And it's like just like they'll eat, but don't like cater. Clara is still a picky eater and will probably be a picky eater forever.
Yeah.
Unless she's at my house.
Unless she's at your house and she eats everything and says thank you, and she's so great.
And then she says, "I'll only eat it at house."
Yes. Miss Lindsay makes these better. That's interesting. I made them the literal exact same way.
I thought about her last week when I bought one.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she does make everything better. It's Miss Lacey magic. But it's like, well, then you're hungry. Like, then you're going to be hungry because I made chicken and rice. I haven't. The only time we allow them to be picky is if like we've made something that like adults might not also like.
Right.
Like Josh is genuinely fun to eat with. He's genuinely fun to take to restaurants and go to new places and things because he'll try everything. And when he says, "Oh, I don't really love that," we believe him and allow him to like not eat that because he'll try it.
Yeah.
And every kid has different taste buds and all the things, and everyone has, I don't like goopy things. All the stuff. But when Clara's like, "I don't like that," we're like, "No, yeah, you do probably." Like,
I guess with that, actually, the one thing that we had that was kind of an advice and a learning tool was when they started eating solid food on their own plates, right? So like, this is not something we instigated when they were starting with their very first foods, and it wasn't something we did in the like probably up until they were 3. Like nothing up to that point. But once they had to try everything on their plate, had to try it, and if it went in their mouth, it did not come back out unless it was rotten or they were choking on it. Like it was one of those things of like, if you don't like the taste of it, fine, but you are going to swallow it because it's rude to spit your food back out. And it's entirely possible that you actually did, and you just decided that you were going to hate it because it wasn't something you wanted to put on the plate. So whether it came on a restaurant or we gave it to them, like that's the only way you're going to introduce foods, right? Pre-making it, having it down there and be like, you have to try at least 1 bite. Sometimes we would up it to 2 bites because, then it actually gets a flavor of it. And if they tried to make it tiny, like some itty bitty bite, we're like, all right, now you have to have 3 bites. Like we would just, it was one of those things like, it's a rule, a legit bite. If you don't like it, fine. We're not going to make you eat the whole thing, but you have to try everything on your plate. And if it goes in your mouth, it can't come back out.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one. That's a good like addition to.
Yeah.
Yes. Baby led weaning. I think that was the only
Mm.
Mm.
book I read and like really followed. Baby-led weaning. That was good. I mean, not that it helped wean either one of my children. Well, I guess it helped Josh a little bit. It did not help Clara. Um, but I liked that book a lot because they ate what we ate.
Hmm.
And,
Yes.
believe it or not, Clara used to not be picky, and then she turned 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that
And I
can
think
happen too, but it's
it's
like,
a
it's
power
again, it's a
struggle.
personality. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So along with that, like, because I mean, you could call those hacks, but we've got like favorite products and hacks. I had asked Jeremy, like, what are my hacks? I don't know. And he's like, well, you have a lot, like everything. And I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't narrow it down.
Right.
But okay, so one of the hacks that like basically I'm gonna call it a hack. We had 3 kids and we had started fitness and it was meal planning and prep because it saved time because I had a schedule that we went to the store at the same like pretty much the same day, same time every week. And so just having that plan that was useful. And then as far as products go, like first it was the Bumbo, now it's the Upseat. They sit with me, they help me cook, and that kind of involves them in the food prep anyway, which makes them a little bit more excited to try it when they help. Um, and then the snoo proved its weight in value when we had a power outage. It
Mm.
literally, the power went out, it shut off, and she immediately started crying. And I was like, that's what's been getting me sleep these, 3 months or however old she was when that happened. But I'm also like, I was also very afraid in the early days of motherhood of SIDS. And Emma is 20 or will be 20 this year. And they didn't have like the Owlet monitor, which is what we use now. Um, so we had the Angel Care monitor and it has like sensors for under the pad. So like those are the things that like allowed me to get more sleep, proper nutrition, and then just like helpful stuff with the baby. And then my last like parenting hack as a mom and a new mom specifically, when I didn't want to pump because I didn't have a routine yet, was learning how to hand express. Or if you're out and you get engorged, like and you need relief, you have to know how to hand express.
Mine, when it came to like routine changing, so like sleep habits and stuff, I would weirdly, and I don't know if this would work for everybody, but it just worked for me. I would try to change, like time them so that they match with specifically Zoe with her vaccinations and immunizations because she would sleep so well after she had her shots that if I needed to change and like make routine changes, weirdly, actually, she was much more open to doing that around that time. And of course, they're kind of pre-scheduled. Like you can talk to your doctor about when it is that they plan to do some of these things and you can look ahead. And we were able to make changes weirdly really well during those times. I really don't remember if I did that with Lexi, but we had to be moving around a lot more because Zoe was already in school. So I didn't, our schedule was different with her. But the one thing that worked the best and was like a big thing, and I upgraded with Lexi, but was using a milk catcher. With Zoe, I had this weird rig where I took like the pump bottle and the nozzle that you put against your breast, and like I propped it up in my bra, and she was nursing on one side, and then it would catch all of the milk during the letdown. And it was really awkward, and sometimes it would mess, and it would. At the time, there wasn't a whole lot of options. When Lexi came around, there was a company called Milky's that came out and had this basically flat one that you just slipped inside your bra and it just sat there. And you could actually walk around with them all day and it would just catch throughout the day if you wanted to. And then you would just pour it into a bottle and put it in the fridge and do that well. But it helped so much because then you're not wasting milk. And I was able to freeze it and add it to bottles whenever we needed to, if we had babysitters or I stopped producing very well with both of them in the last couple of months, and we had enough stuff frozen for Lexi that she was still able to have enough breast milk to get through the whole year. Um, and it was mostly because I had the ability to catch all of the
Yeah.
excess throughout the time. I didn't necessarily walk around with it, because I didn't have let down. Just like I really didn't react to other crying babies all that much. Like I might have a little bit where I needed like the the pads to just kind of catch little bits here and there, but not a full letdown unless I was feeding. And then the other one that I just recommend to everybody to hack and save your mattress is to either put a mattress protector on top of your mattress, a waterproof one, or sleep with a towel, or do both. Especially in the new days of birth, like of infancy, whether you are breastfeeding or not, you are going to have milk and you are going to leak and you are going to just get it all over the bed. And if you can easily strip that and get it cleaned up, you can go right back to sleep. But that's definitely something you need to save your $5,000 to $30,000 mattress. Just protect it. Those are my hacks.
I guess, okay. Baby carriers. I mentioned that before. I loved my Tula. I know people used the Ergo. I had a Lily baby. I had like a bunch of carriers. I still love Tula. I know like now the new hotness is, I think it's called like Maybe or something. But baby carriers, we wore the babies like everywhere, to the point where I didn't use my like car seat carrier thing. People are always like, oh, they're gonna wake up. Like, yeah, my kids hate the car seat. Um, I guess my hack was babies also get car sick, and I think people don't like really think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And a pediatrician mentioned it to me when I was talking about how like horribly awfully Josh does in the car. And once I put him in the um it still is like for their weight and all the things, and it's like rated, 6 pounds to whatever, and he was still rear facing. But once I put him in the conversion seat, the big one, not the like baby bucket carrier that you can hold, since that naturally sits up higher and they're a little bit more tilted upright, still safe. It still like adjusts for all the things, guys. But he was happier, not 100% happy, but happier. Turning him around is what really like did the difference, but we didn't do that until he was able to be turned around. I guess that where the babies, we wore them everywhere. Our really extra bougie stroller was mostly for toddlers and my diaper bag. I don't think they really sat in it much when they were babies. And then one of my favorite products, all babies love this thing. It's that banana toothbrush.
I
It
have
looks
it
like
somewhere.
a peeled banana. Every single baby I've ever met loves that thing. They love it.
Yes.
I've never come in contact with a baby that's like, I hate this. They
Right.
are obsessed with that banana toothbrush thing, and both of my babies were. And it's my favorite like baby shower gift. I typically get two because you lose one
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time. And I didn't, I don't know. I just nursed on demand. We nursed everywhere. I don't have any bougie nursing products. Oh, the bamboo nursing pads that are washable. Those were great.
Yeah. I like those.
Very
That's all
nice.
I've got. I don't think I have anything else. None of the other like baby things worked. The owlet monitor, we used that.
So with that statement, what flopped? What just like totally did not work? Whether it was like a
My
trend
really
or a
bougie
thing.
infant car seat.
The really
The
bougie
very,
stuff.
very, very bougie, expensive infant car seat that they both hated with the passion of a thousand burning suns.
Yeah.
That had a real nice one. The Mamaroo.
Yeah.
I know that's in someone else's notes. My kids hated it. And the ring slings. I could never make a ring sling work.
No.
Like I could never get it so like it wasn't falling, or I saw all these moms and they were like completely hands-free using these amazing ring slings.
Yeah.
And like that it's probably 90% user error, but like
I couldn't
could
do
never
it
get
either,
that gosh
though.
darn thing to work.
No.
Like it never worked.
No.
Give me a structured carrier any day of the week because that thing was awful.
No. We had a
cloth diapering. That was in my thing.
Yeah.
Cloth diapering. I was a failure. Someone told me that you need to like laundry or not hate laundry in order to be able to cloth diaper. And I
it's
was like, I
expensive.
don't love laundry, but it's okay. I did not realize my deep-seated hatred, how deeply I hated laundry. So I failed at cloth diapering because I hate laundry.
It's fine.
We failed at cloth diapering because Jeremy hated the laundry aspect of it. I'm like, you're not doing it. He's like, I don't want to have to rinse it off. I'm like, okay.
We actually did really well cloth diapering with Zoe. We did not do really well cloth diapering with Lexi, but it's an investment. It's an investment that we were able to go to Children's Consignment Cell and like get a bunch of them and then buy new stuff as we needed. Of course, we made sure they were fully cleaned, but then it did help us with our budget. Like when we were having, very first kid, it did work well with our budget because then we could decrease on the stuff that we were having to pay for all the time. But with Lexi, it just became like worthless. It was one of those things. I kept a cloth diaper or two in the car for emergencies in case I ran out of other ones. But otherwise, we didn't do it the second time around because it was like, it doesn't work with our lifestyle anymore. And yeah, that ended up being a fail on round 2. But the Mamaroo, we had a traditional swing and the kids loved that. And they were not really fans of the Mamaroo. It's kind of pointless and boring. And I see no purpose in it. I mean, I guess I do. Some do, but just like, no, my kids don't find it nearly exciting enough for them.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's
we
fine.
didn't do the Mamaroo. I tried to stay like pretty basic with the kids, like all the kids always like not get all the things because if cavemen could have babies without the products, then I can.
Then so can you. Yeah.
So when I was thinking about like what we got that we didn't really use was a changing table.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time they were crawling around or like on the ground more, we just changed them on the ground or like wherever we were. So buy a dresser, put a pad on it. You're not going to use it that long. So
Yeah,
like the
specifically a changing table.
Yeah.
Ones that are made with the little wall things. What are you going to do with it afterwards?
I didn't use bottle sanitizers. We did baby detergent initially, and then I realized, like, if I'm washing my clothes or their clothes are in the regular detergent, then I don't they're on it. So, baby detergent, bottle sanitizers, snack caddies for mom while breastfeeding. I just get up and get food, have it before you sit down, or have your husband or whoever help you. I think social media is a little bit too much pushing the products and oh, look at this beautiful thing I just did. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. It's totally unnecessary. And you're going to have to restock it. And it's ridiculous. Social media today isn't what it was when I had my first 4. And then I'm old now, so I don't really fall into the comparison trap. And I'm just totally content. But I do think that they push a lot of unnecessary things. Mm-hmm. That it's just I don't like clutter on my counter either. And there were some books I'm sure that I probably didn't have to read, but the books I read 20 years ago that still hold up. I read What to Expect When You're Expecting and What to Expect the Toddler Years. I think they even had a What to Expect the First Year. And that was just nice because we didn't have Baby Center or the other ones. What are they called? Well, there is a What to Expect app or the Bump. That's what it was. Oh, and it has the milestones. And it was always nice to just go in and look at the sciencey part of it in those books. So the What to Expect books were good. One of my all-time favorite movies, What to Expect When You're Expecting. I'm just saying, I could watch that on repeat. And it's because babies. I love babies. I'm obsessed. And the baby story is not a thing anymore. Anyway, Brian's just
books.
Going off in
Brian,
here.
Go back to books.
Thank you. So the Baby Wise book 1 and 2, phenomenal. And then the one I got for Penelope, number 5, and I'm still using, is the Baby Signing Bible. Mm-hmm. That really opened up. She was a mad baby for about 6 months until she could start signing and communicate. So that one really beneficial for her, and we're working on it with Posey. So those are the ones that I would say are bare bones parenting, and that's it. And I think that we're doing some baby led weaning, but mainly you eat what we eat. We're not doing anything too extreme with that, and we never really have. So those are books. But did you guys read any other books that were awesome? Or
you've listed the ones we did, and we still use sign language now. The kids, we don't go into big stuff. I took it in college, but Zoe she made a point when she got a little bit older of going back and having me help her like go through and really learn the whole alphabet and a few other signs. And we'll still use that from like across spaces. And so that's one of those things. It was incredibly helpful when she didn't have words. There is patience to that, and there's a learning curve. So it's one of the things that we were taught in college when we did it is babies pick up and little kids pick up sign language very quickly, but that's not perfect. So you have to pay attention to what they are doing, and you may just not cue and like realize what it is. But it's so helpful. It's so helpful.
Yeah.
For the toddler years, we used 1, 2, 3 magic. And that was just like, about redirecting behavior and stuff. Baby-led weaning. But kind of like Lacey, we used it, but it was also like you eat what we eat. Like I just made it, less spice. Cool.
Yeah.
And if you really want to be like confronted about your life choices, anything by Paul David Tripp, to include the parenting book. If you're ever feeling like you're great, that'll make you feel like you're not. Same thing for his marriage book. That one's confronting as well. But they're fantastic books also, about like, raising children in a Christian home, and how to do that. We read those. I don't think we apply everything from every book, but those are good.
Yeah.
What about like advice? Like how'd you filter through advice? Like I don't think we got a lot.
I think it's the old Southern thing, smile and say like, thank you. Or as, my mother-in-law says, my, how nice.
Oh, I love that.
I think that's the Southerner in me coming out.
I think that's probably how we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Because like people that are offering you unsolicited advice or even like solicited advice that you're like, this is junk. You're not going to change what they think. So just like, oh, cool. Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah. And you're always going to get it. So I would say in the way of the advice, we're going to jump into what I would recommend. It's like, don't be afraid to ask for the help or ask for the advice from people. Also, don't just immediately throw out somebody else's advice. Like, if it's something super ridiculous, like little Hispanic ladies telling Amelia that Josh needs to wear socks in 114-degree weather because he's going to die, because he's going to freeze, that you can just, it's gone. But like other things, you don't know until you're in a situation. So like have it, there, give them the platitudes, and then don't be afraid to eat your words. Don't be afraid to ask for the advice, but also you don't always have to go to the person that they tell you you're supposed to go. Like you have to go to your mom. If you don't have a relationship with your mom, or you don't like the way that your parents raised you and you and your spouse have decided you're going to do it a different way, then don't go to your mom. Like if they didn't do a schedule and you want to do a schedule, then your parents are probably not the people to ask about how to keep on the schedule. But that's hard to say in there.
Look for the people that have awesome kids and ask them what they did.
Yeah.
And I would say like follow what feels right and do the research. That's what I did. I read and researched and just we went off of what felt right. And you look at the people who have, the kids that you want to emulate and want your kids to grow up to be like, you ask them what they did.
Yeah. I think that's excellent. Excellente.
So we've shared all the things that worked and didn't work for us. And we'd love to hear from you guys. What worked for you? What didn't work for you? Join us in the discussion on Instagram, YouTube, social media, anywhere where you can find the virtual compound.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time. Bye. What is our next
Don't
episode?
Do words, guys.
No, that was great.
That's okay. That was good.
That was beautiful.
No.
You're going to scare everybody away from having kids.
I am. First year is easy. It gets harder.
Children.
It gets harder. But it's like the greatest thing ever. Literally, it's my favorite. Obviously, we started
This will be our bloopers.